but they do comment on.
Okay.
Yup. Hey, ¿qué tal, gente? Raza, what's up? We are right here at the backstage, man. So you're joining us, man. If you guys see, acá está con nosotros. Tenemos a Kami.
Israel.
Acá el homie Israel.
Que la
También
chingan.
está. Tenemos acá. Tenemos también a Oscar de Alabama, Israel de California y Alfred de California. Un placer de estar con ustedes aquí. Una semana, oigan, guys, una semana después de las elecciones. ¿Cómo ven ahorita? ¿Qué es lo que ustedes están viendo? ¿Qué es lo que ven ustedes en tu estado? Oscar, ¿cómo ves Alabama? Ustedes no tuvieron problema a escoger a Trump, pero acá en California, 36 condados, bro. Se fueron
Inclusive el condado que votó más, o sea, que tuvo más votaciones de toda Alabama fue el condado que se llama Elmore County, y ese es precisamente el condado donde vivo yo. Entonces fuimos el condado que tuvo más votaciones que cualquier otro condado. Obviamente fue rojo. Me sorprendió porque sí fueron, ¿cuántos? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Creo que 7 condados en Alabama votaron a demócratas, pero uno nada más realmente cuenta, que es el condado de Birmingham, que tiene mucha población. Es un condado muy, muy azul, es una ciudad muy, muy azul. Como puedes imaginar, también es una ciudad con mucha violencia. Inclusive Birmingham creo que está clasificada en las 10 ciudades más violentas que existen en Estados Unidos. Entonces, si eso te da alguna idea de qué son las políticas de los demócratas, pues sigan votando de esa manera, ¿no? Pero sí, fueron como 7, 8 condados, no recuerdo exactamente, que votaron azul, pero el resto fueron para Trump.
Yep, así es. Igualmente aquí en California, Israel y yo estábamos estábamos así, mira, como con las uñas, bro. Estamos mordiéndonos las uñas. Creo que el balde donde se había llenado las uñas de tanto, porque estamos viendo de que en California, en lugares donde más azul, estamos viendo una disminución de votantes azul, o sea, de demócratas. En California, en el 2020, hubieron 16 condados que habían votado para los republicanos. En esta oportunidad hay 36 condados que votaron para Donald J. Trump en California. Eso ha ganado, estamos hablando desde 1978.
En 4 años fue el cambio.
Exactamente.
Incluso si incluyes la foto que me mandaste, es cuando se nota la diferencia en los 4 años.
Yep.
Porque se ve más rojo todo el condado. Y en California yo pierdo mucha fe de que no van a cambiar las cosas, porque tuvimos chance de sacar a Gavin Newsom.
Claro.
Y se quedó el güey. Entonces, cuando me di cuenta, dije, no, ¿sabes qué? Pues yo estaba motivado para sacarlo, porque no ha hecho nada para el estado. Claro. Pero la gente, pues, le lavan el coco. Entonces yo pienso que poco a poco va a ser el cambio, y estamos yendo en la dirección buena.
Oye, y sí, inclusive yo me atrevería a decir que a lo mejor esos 4 años, yo creo que a lo mejor no los podemos tomar como punto de referencia, porque he visto otras gráficas también, que las votaciones del 2020, ¿cuántos fueron? Como 13 millones más de votaciones o algo así, no me acuerdo, eran muchas más votaciones en ese año que fueron para Biden. Entonces creo que hay algo ahí también de que hubo trampa, ¿no? O sea, bueno, sabemos que hubo trampa, pero no sé cuántas de ahí salieron de California.
Y ¿sabes qué? Incluso estaba viendo un comentario en las redes sociales, en Facebook, porque alguien dijo, porque sí viste la lista, ¿verdad? De los votos, más o menos estaban como 72 millones, 66, y luego 81.
Sí.
Oye, ¿qué pasó? Y luego alguien dijo, no, pues es que había más votos por la pandemia, porque votaron por el mail-in ballot, ¿verdad? Por papel. Entonces,
es lo que dicen.
Ahí es cuando se fue la luz. Ese fue el plan, porque le das los votos a la gente que no los pedían, porque antes cambiaron la regla y le echaron la culpa a COVID, ¿verdad? Que normalmente necesitabas una razón por cual necesitabas votar con el absentee ballot, pero usaron a COVID como la excusa para que se lo manden a todos. Y luego también vimos ¿cuál es el dicho? Es que dices, no importa quién vote, pero quién cuentan los votos.
¿Quién cuenta los votos? Ese fue Lenin.
Yeah, Lenin.
Lenin dijo, no importa quiénes son los que voten, sino el que cuenta los votos. Ese es un
Oye,
dicho.
verás, déjate presento aquí lo que está hablando.
Ya, pero
A
a
ver,
todo bien podemos ver de que se está poniendo, esa es la gráfica, exactamente.
esta es la gráfica, ¿no? Entonces, aquí vemos los promedios, ¿no? Está entre 65 y 70 millones de votos, desde 2012, 2016 a 2024, pero en el 2020, bolas, se nos disparó a más de 80 millones de votos. Lo curioso es que también para el rojo, entonces, de toda la tranza que hicieron, no sé si es como cuando vas a robar, ¿no? Dice, bueno, no me voy a robar todo porque si me robo todo se van a dar cuenta que me lo robé. Entonces voy a dejarle también por acá. Entonces no sé si también les dieron votos a los republicanos o qué pasó, pero sí está alto también ese número. O, o no hicieron trampas los republicanos y sí quisimos votar, fueron las votaciones, porque está más o menos parejón con este año, ¿no? Inclusive este año se ve un poquito menos, pero está muy parejo con lo que es este año. Entonces ya viéndola bien, a lo mejor no hubo tranza, pero sí, la azul definitivamente,
Algo curioso, ¿no?
algo muy, muy curioso ahí, como que, ¿qué pedo? ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira, te digo una cosa, yo estaba en una fiesta en el este de Los Ángeles con unos compas republicanos porque queríamos festejar la victoria de Trump. Y me
Ujú.
acuerdo cuando estaba viendo los resultados en vivo, ¿te acuerdas que todo paró?
Ujú.
Y me dije, oye, algo raro estaba ocurriendo porque creo que en Georgia había un caso donde algo explotó, ¿no? Y tenían que cerrar y luego no dejaban a la gente entrar para vigilar la gente que estaba votando. Entonces, yo me acuerdo que para mí lo que se me hizo curioso fue que que en todos los estados que estaban enseñando la pantalla, estaba ganando Trump. Y luego se van a un break, como dices, regresan y todos los votos se fueron a un lado. O sea, no sé, yo sé que no se puede decir porque después te acusan de ser loco.
Conspiratas.
Ya, conspiracy
Cons-
theories, como le dicen, ¿no?
conspiratas.
Somos
No,
conspiratas.
nosotros seremos conspiratas, pero esos son conspiratas.
Conspiratas.
Ya.
Pienso que en esta ocasión estoy viendo la gráfica ahí y también estaba viendo en otra gráfica que hubieran 71, creo que hubo 71 votos por Kamala Harris y creo que 10,000 mujeres, dicen que 10,000 mujeres no votaron, dicen.
Por
Entonces,
Kamala.
que no votaron por Kamala.
Okay.
Entonces, eso nos da a entender de que creo que por mucho tiempo el Partido Demócrata ha tomado ventaja de las mujeres. ¿Verdad? Así es, porque han estado atacando a las mujeres pues por sus derechos, derechos de
matar a bebés.
matar a bebés, o sea, ser honestos,
Ujú.
¿verdad? De matar a bebés. Y creo que eso fue demasiado en esta ocasión, en estos 4 años. Creo que basta, creo que las mujeres estuvieron analizando cuidadosamente qué es lo que está pasando. Y realmente quiero que como amas de casa, ¿da? Creo que las mujeres que están ahí escuchando pueden decir, ellas son las que controlan pues la casa, pues el hogar. Controlan el pago, la comida, la papa. O sea, nosotros traemos la comida, obvio, es mutuo, pero ellos son los que están validando el pago, ¿no? Entonces ellos dijeron, no, hombre, estos 4 años, si yo como mujer, yo le digo a mi esposa, ok, si tú quieres votar por Kamala, pues ahí tú, ¿no? Pero yo no estoy de acuerdo porque es mata bebés y ¿no? Entonces, para que sepa.
No, y el compa tiene razón, porque lo que ocurrió los últimos 4 años sirvió para comparar dos épocas, la época bajo Trump y la época bajo Biden. Y no, ningún tipo ¿cómo te diré? De comercial o de propaganda va a afectar eso, porque la gente supo cómo fue la vida bajo los dos bajo los dos presidentes y ellos pues, estaba más canijo cuando ahorita con Biden pues todo subió de precio, la inflation y todo. Entonces eso más que nada yo pienso fue lo que motivó a muchos latinos para decir, ¿sabes qué? Pues aunque sea racista el Trump por sus comentarios, la vida estaba mejor bajo él.
100%. Creo que al
Sí.
fin y al cabo nos dimos cuenta de que necesitamos a alguien que maneje esta patria. Hemos visto el desastroso problema que está pasando, no nada más en el borde, pero con la inflación, con las guerras, ya 2 guerras dentro de 4 años, y creo que es tiempo, ¿no? Creo que, como dice Israel, ya hemos visto los dos lados, ¿no? Y creo que la gente hoy en día, aunque podemos ver que fueron igual, pues aquel grupo, a aquel lado, pues lastimosamente 10,000 personas no votaron. Entonces, no puedo decir por qué, pero lo que sí sabemos es de que quizás se tocaron el corazón y dijeron, Nel, ya estamos cansados de la inflación, ya estamos cansados del crimen, ya estamos cansados de pisar en popó, en pipí, ya está suave, vamos a ver si hay un cambio, ¿no? Y creo que eso es importante, ¿no?
Y ahora le
Sí,
están echando culpa a los latinos, porque
Sí,
latino como porcentaje votó mucho para Biden. Yo vi un video donde un negro que estaba enojado porque según esto los traicionamos a los negros, dijo, ya no voy a comprar tacos. En protesta de votar a Trump. Y ¿sabes lo que yo le quiero decir al negro? Le quiero decir, oye, debes darlos un beso a los latinos porque preventimos que este país se hiciera comunista.
sí.
Evitamos eso. Y
Oye, hablando de las protestas, ¿no han escuchado las protestas que están haciendo las mujeres? Que se están rasurando la cabeza y dicen que no van a tener sexo con nadie, que porque están en protesta que ganó Trump. Y yo me quedo a pensar, bueno, yo soy una persona bastante conservadora, ¿no? Entonces, inclusive creo que más de lo normal. Pero yo digo, bueno, pues... Bueno, para empezar, eso es solamente en el matrimonio, entonces nada más estarían fregándose a su marido si están casados. Y para continuar, viéndolas así como esas son, pues digo, pues creo que le están haciendo un favor a la sociedad de
no,
cualquier
no,
forma.
en serio, aunque no lo puedan ver, es un favor grandísimo. En vez de estar enojados, hay que darle un beso a los latinos.
Sí.
Pero la cosa que todavía me da poco lástima es que todavía como que se pusieron la pila a los latinos, por como el porcentaje de las personas que votaron para Trump fue bastante, ¿no? Pero si notas, 90% de las mujeres negras votaron para Kamala. Así que todavía tienen ese control de la gente y creo que como 80 más o menos, ¿verdad? Como 80% de los hombres afroamericanos también votaron para Kamala. Así que ojalá que el mismo cambio que ocurrió con los latinos también ocurra con los negros.
Sí, pero yo creo que vienen buenos cambios porque, bueno, un par de cosas ahí en cuanto a lo que estabas diciendo, Izzy, de lo que es cómo manejó Trump y cómo manejó Biden, y ya lo vimos, obviamente,
Ujú.
eso ya está ya está ahí, ¿no? Ya están esos 4 años que vimos bajo Trump, ya están los 4 años que vimos bajo Biden / Kamala, porque ella estuvo ahí también, y ella dijo inclusive que las decisiones importantes ella estuvo ahí. Pero ahora vamos a ver los próximos 4 años con Trump. Y creo que si algo es un buen indicativo de cómo van a ser a los próximos 4 años, creo que lo que la gente debe hacer es ir a ver cómo usaron su presupuesto para la campaña de presidente. Ambos, tanto como Kamala y Trump. Kamala se gastó todo y según los cálculos de hoy, que escuché hoy, 20 millones más que no tiene para pagar a la gente que le
Beyoncé,
estuvieron ayudando, ¿no?
Taylor Swift,
No, Oprah Winfrey,
Oprah.
le pagaron como $1 millón. ¿Qué le están pagando $1 millón a esa señora? Ella es billonaria, ella no necesita $1 millón. O sea, para ella $1 millón es como si yo dijera, me voy a regalar $1. O sea, no,
Yeah.
no, eso no me sirve para nada. Pero le pagaron $1 millón. Según a la señora esta, la que hace el podcast de pornografía y de orgías y no sé qué tanto, Kamala no fue a su estudio. Según lo que yo escuché, es que trajeron a esta señora a un hotel y lo que hicieron, replicaron el estudio de ella en un hotel temporalmente para poder hacer la grabación y después lo destruyeron todo. O sea, fue un gasto como de $100,000 nada más para duplicar el estudio de ella, porque Kamala simplemente no quería ir al estudio donde estaba esta señora. Entonces fue un derroche de dinero a lo bestia, como decimos, ¿no? Y Trump, por el otro lado, gastó mucho menos del dinero que había recaudado para su campaña. Entonces, si ese es un indicativo de cómo van a ser los próximos 4 años, creo que vamos por buen camino.
100%. Hablando de lo que acabas de mencionar, dice así que la campaña de Harris gastó aproximadamente 1.00 billones de dólares. Eso fue en 1.3 billones en lo que fue el desarrollo de estas presentaciones de lo que fue Kamala Harris en diferentes lugares. Ahí pudimos ver que la mayoría de gente, ¿se acuerdan ustedes que decíamos nosotros los conservadores y nos llamaban conspiratas de que habían autobuses que estaban jalando la gente? Imagínense, le estaban pagando la gente, a la pobre gente ya estaba harta de ir imagínate tú ir al mismo Circo Vargas. Yo me cansaría de ver al mismo Circo Vargas, yo no sé de ustedes, yo me cansaría de ver lo mismo, pero esta gente estaba, no nada más eso, también ella gastó 582 millones de dólares solamente en lo que es costos administrativos. Okay,
sí, de sus empleados, básicamente, de los staffers, ¿no? Los staffers.
Exactamente.
Y eso va muy de acuerdo a cómo los demócratas manejan el gobierno. Ellos quieren más y más y más y más gente trabajando en el gobierno. Y ahora vamos a tener a Dutch, el Department of, ¿cómo se llama? Dutch.
Efficiency, ¿no?
Efficiency, algo así, ¿no? El que va a manejar Elon Musk y parece que también este otro, ¿cómo se llama? Ramaswamy.
Vivek
Ramaswamy también va a estar ahí involucrado junto con Elon Musk en hacer más productivo lo que son los departamentos. Y fíjate que estaba escuchando a este señor de Elon Musk y estaba diciendo, ¿sabías que hay más de 1,000, no sé qué tantos departamentos de gobierno? Eso quiere decir que hemos estado creando 2 departamentos nuevos de gobierno cada año desde la fundación de Estados Unidos, que son como pues que tenemos, ya vamos para 250 años, ¿no?
Yeah.
El próximo, ¿qué fue? En el 2026 van a ser 250, no, 2027 van a ser 250 años. Entonces, pues digo, no, pues tanto departamento de gobierno, pues, pues es mucho. Y lo que él quiere hacer es reducirlos a un 20-30%. Y se me hace muy sentido común de cómo lo quiere hacer, porque quiere quitarlos e irse a la brava y empezar a quitar. Y dice, si en alguna ocasión quitamos uno que después descubrimos que es importante, pues lo volvemos a poner. Entonces es como muy...
¿No has visto? Disculpe, ¿no has visto el video, el del presidente de Argentina? Cuando dice, voy a cortar todo.
Sí.
Ya, voy a cortar
¡Carajo!
todo.
Dice.
¡Carajo!
Sí, dice.
El departamento de educación lo cortamos.
Fuera.
Ya, fuera.
No, sí, lo vi el video. Haz de cuenta, sí, Elon Musk, igual, pero sí es lo que se necesita hacer, porque hay demasiado, o sea, mucho red tape, como dicen, ¿no? Inclusive lo dijo también el presidente de El Salvador. Dice, en California, dijo, ahí en California construyeron como 600 metros de tren con tantos billones de dólares. Y dice, eso no es eficiente, en ningún lado del mundo ocurre eso más que en Estados Unidos. ¿Y por qué? Por tanta regulación, y tienes que ser prueba de esto, prueba de aquello. Y, o sea, ¿qué horas te dejan trabajar? Pero, bueno.
100%. Y a todo hablando de California, nuestro querido Newsom acaba de firmar una ley en el que agregará, por medio de el comité CARB, que es el comité que él mismo fundó. O sea, imagínate tú ser un gobernador y crear tus propios comités, ¿no? Para que controlen ¿qué? Al petróleo. Y bueno, ha aprobado una ley en el que va a aumentar el 65%, 65 centavos el galón aquí en California, y los californianos estamos, what the hell, pero mira, votan por esta gente.
No, el payaso no es Newsom, son los que votan para Newsom.
Exactamente, eso no se puede. Entonces, la gente grita.
Se quejan y después votan para el problema.
Exactamente.
Y otra cosa, Él fue a la corte para decir que no necesitan a votar para los impuestos. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah. Dijo, y como la corte del Supreme Court de California, están en la bolsa de Newsom, lo pasó. Antes, si va a haber si van a aumentar impuestos, la gente tiene que decidir. Pero Newsom cortó ese path y se fue directamente a las cortes. Y ahora, si él decide que quieren los impuestos más altos, lo tiene que comer.
Ajá, y nosotros...
Suena como una democracia, ¿no?
Completamente. Socialista democracia, eso es parte de es parte del plan. No, también acabo de ver un video que se presentó acá en Skid Row y se le presenta un homeless con el nombre de general y le empieza a decir, lo que tú estás creando aquí, dice, la gente están gastando estas y le enseña exactamente dónde están los lugares, las localidades. Mira, este lugar que tú pusiste aquí no sirve, no nos da nada. Y son edificios que han puesto ahí para ayudar a la gente. Y ahí está, mientras está caminando él por la calle de Skid Row, el tipo, básicamente el general, saludos ahí para el general, le está diciendo, mira, esto no sirve, esto que tú creas no sirve, no. Y el guy nomás está riendo, o sea, con la cara roja, o sea, es como decir, ya lárgate porque nos están grabando aquí, o sea,
me veo mal.
Me veo mal, nos estás grabando, guy.
Y no sé si sabes esto, pero han gastado no sé cuántos billones para los homeless.
¿Sí?
Pero se fueron a los costos administrativos. Está tan mal la situación que hasta el gobierno del federal forzó a California que use los fondos para los homeless. Porque es por eso que el problema no se arregla, porque necesitan los homeless para recibir los fondos y después pedirle al gobierno, necesito más dinero porque tenemos un problema, pero no lo quieren resolver.
100%. Hasta tengo gente que trabajan para estos comités creados por las ciudades que reciben estos fondos federales. Y lastimosamente, como dice Israel, es cierto. Hay organizaciones que están recibiendo el alto porcentaje. O sea, estamos hablando de un 88% para administrar. Algo que imagínate, la gente está recibiendo el 20%, lo demás, 80% se está yendo a costos, ¿de qué? A costos administrativos. O sea, para que alguien procese esa aplicación, le voy a pagar, imagínate, si de $100, de cada $100, le tengo que pagar $80 a aquel que te procese, $20 solamente se le está dando a la población. Entonces, es un robo. Y pues bueno, lastimosamente los payasos, como dice Israel, aquí en California,
hay muchos
votan por estos.
Y es lágrimas porque si tienes le lavan el coco bonito aquí en California.
Es triste.
A la gente.
No, se lo dejan lavar también. Entonces, ¿qué show? Ya nos vamos al show.
Ven, gente, antes de comenzar el siguiente slide, necesitamos su ayuda. Por favor, hagan share a estás tú en esta frecuencia, lo estás escuchando en español. En este momento vamos a hacer la transmisión a inglés, pero necesitamos que nos ayudes. Hay ahí un gran grupo de personas que están escuchándonos en español y están esperando a que nos brinquemos a inglés. Haznos un favor, por favor. Acuérdate, Lexit no nos paga, Facebook no nos paga, Instagram no nos paga. Todo esto que hacemos nosotros lo estamos haciendo para educar a nuestra comunidad, pero necesitamos tu ayuda. Por favor, hazle share a esta frecuencia para poder llegar más personas que sí le interesa esta información. Así que, ¿listos para el siguiente segmento? Vámonos.
Alfred, los comentarios de Akire.
Oh, sí, mira, Akire Prieto dice, los negros y las negras que votaron por Kamala no tienen idea qué es el comunismo. Deberían visitar países comunistas para que vean que los demócratas solo se están llevando a la agenda para tener un pueblo dependiente del gobierno. Exactamente. Yep. Akire Prieto, o sea, si él dijo la palabra ¿quiénes? Pues su apellido es Prieto, así que no se enojen, no se molesten. También está ahí, miren, René Macy dice 100, y bueno, ellos están afirmando que 100 millones de mujeres no votaron por el Partido Demócrata en esta ocasión. Imagínense ustedes.
Yep.
All right, ¿listos?
Listo.
Vámonos. Entonces nos vamos. Hey, thank you so much. We are switching it up in English, así para que Israel ya se quite ese Takuche. He removes that vest right there. He can
No,
speak. He can
no,
finally
no.
speak in English, man. We are heading off on the next segment on Lexit Live, man, where we do the Spanglish. We do the Spanish and English segment right now. We just jumped over from the Spanish into English. So now you're listening to us and you're like, oh, what the heck happened here? They're speaking another language. Of course, we're speaking your native language. Así somos
Babylon.
latinos. Yep, somos latinos que hablamos Spanglish. Así que,
Calo. We speak
yep,
Calo.
we speak Calo. Así que, welcome to the Lexit Live, man. We are so delighted to start the show, man. Oscar, hit it off, bro.
Yeah, so and if you do have family or people that you want them to learn more about politics and learn more about what's going on in the country, uh, you know, that is related to politics, but they don't speak English and they only speak Spanish, let us know too, because we might be able to expand a little bit more our Spanish section and present a little bit more on that in Spanish too. So we're just trying to serve you. And if that's in English or that's in Spanish, just let us know what you want. We'll try to accommodate the best we can. But right now, I just want to talk to you guys about, we want to discuss a few things, and the elections is over now. That what happened last week. Thankfully, thank God, and I don't use his name in vain. Trump was elected as president, so now he's the president elect, and a lot of things are happening.
100%.
And I was thinking about, you know, why do we vote? No, why do we vote? And so I was thinking back of the reasons I voted, and I'm like, okay, so I use the economy a lot. Like the economy was better under Trump, but that's not it. I mean, that's not the whole picture. There's so much more than that. There's the whole movement of wokeness, transgender, DEI, all those Marxist ideas.
Yep.
I'm totally against that. That's gonna destroy us. I can live with bad economy. I can live with all that, but that right there, all this woke ideology, that's gonna destroy us. Not only financially, but as a society is, and it was already destroying us. So that to me, that was most important for me to vote against that than because the economy or anything else. So so I was looking back, and there's some cases, and I'm going to show some videos here so we can discuss them. So there's a case in Minnesota, and who was the VP nominee with Kamala? Where was he from?
Minnesota.
Waltz. Yep. He was from
Minnesota. So there's a case with Anne Marie Calgado. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but this is from 2016. And let me just show the video so we can discuss it. Hold on one second.
Yep. Hey, if you're on the chat, man, we want to hear you. Please give us a shout out. Let us know from what city, and what state are you listening from. We will give you a shout out.
Yeah, Alfred, are you gonna dance cumbias?
We are gonna dance cumbias. Are we ready? Okay, ahí está el volume.
Yeah, pero quítale la música.
I think the volume is on your end, buddy.
No, I can't click it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's grayed out.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Oh, no. It's grayed out on my end too. Huh? A ver si lo puedo. Ahorita lo voy a buscar en YouTube real quick.
Pero what was she saying?
All right, so I'll just give you the cliff notes, I guess. So this lady, she's got a transgender child, right? And apparently he was actually, I don't have all the details. I think he or she was 17 years old, and he was looking to get gender affirming care, right, quote unquote, without the consent of the parent. Now the judge ruled that her son, who was near adulthood, almost 18, could live on medical decisions regarding his gender transition. So this basically highlights the legal conflicts that the laws basically are trying. The state in this case is trying to say step in and separate the rights of a parent and say, okay, we're gonna side with the child, and we're gonna let him do whatever he wants. Well, a child, and it is a child, he's almost 18, but it's still a child. Even if he was 18 or 20, I mean, really, the decisions that you make at that age, they're not the best ones, right? So you're you're not all there. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying you're crazy or you can't make the right decisions, but my point is sometimes when you're making a life, altering decision when you're that young, years later you might regret that.
Mhm.
So now if the state is coming in and telling you, okay, we're gonna remove the rights of a parent and we're gonna let you do whatever you want. So now the state is taking the place of a parent, and that's dangerous because the state, they don't really care what's right or wrong for the child. They just want to get political points, if you will, right? Because it is someone behind the scenes, doing and saying all these things. So that to me, it's a family separation. I know they accuse Trump of separating families with deportation and all that, but really, when the state comes in and they take your child and they let him do whatever he or she wants, and they take away your rights to make a decision for your child, that is real family separation. That is coming in and taking the place of a parent. And they were doing that. They were doing a lot of that. You can hear Kamala when she was campaigning, she was talking about the children as the children of the community, or she will say like our children, like they're not a parent's, the children don't belong to a parent per se. They belong to the community or they belong to the state. And that's not right because what they're really doing, they're just breaking up families. That is dangerous. I don't want that. And that's why I voted against that. And I guess we're not gonna be able to play this video, but maybe we can play the next one. But yeah, that's all I wanted to convey on this video. This is just one of the many that we can find. This is just one that popped up, but there's many more videos out there. There's many more stories of the state coming in between. Matter of fact, not only in the individual cases, but I got a case of California. I think they have the AB 2119 from 2020. And basically, what this one is saying, I think, is saying that minors can receive mental health treatment for gender dysphoria without parental consent. Um, so I think this one passed. Do you know, Alfred, if it passed or not?
Yeah, it's actually this one happened. It happened about 4 years ago, actually.
Yeah,
The
that's
reason why,
2020.
yeah, the one that you're talking about, the one that was very very well known here in California. Mom urges Supreme Court to review child lost after the name of the mother was actually Abigail Martinez. Abigail Martinez, actually, his daughter was removed by the school. I believe there was a school district that removed the daughter from because she was going through the phase of transitioning, and the mom did everything she can. She was going to court fighting for her child, right, to keep her away from the center or from the state. And the child, unfortunately, killed herself. Like she literally killed herself. And the mom practically said, of course she's suing. She won the suit against the district, and practically said the reason why this is dangerous is because you're allowing the government or the state to could take control of a child. And this is exactly what happened. This young kid was underage, right, under 18, and she happened to transition, which it went south on them, meaning like even the transitioning, it was something more. It was a social anxiety, a social emotion that she was dealing with, suicidal, hardcore, and they felt that it was because of transitioning. Well, transitioning never happened, and the girl practically walked in front of a train, and the train took care of her. But the reality is that when we are allowing states, the state departments or districts, school districts, making these choices on our behalf as parents, they're liable. They're liable. And so the states here in California, unfortunately, protect these schools and these districts and the government from these particular scenarios. But I think people are waking up, and this is a complete dangerous situation
Yeah,
for
and
them.
I think the other thing that's happened too in California is if you don't go along with the transition, they can use that against you and say that you're hateful And in a lot of custody cases, people lose custody because they didn't acknowledge it. There was a case in Canada where a guy in Canada, they're even worse. There was a case where a father had a son that became, identified as a woman. So she went like, Bobby, and then she's like, oh, I'm Mary. And then the dad didn't want to call the son by the female name. And so he refused because he goes, that's my son. That's he. And he was jailed, bro, because for anti-hate. So
I
if you don't,
remember that one.
yeah, in Canada, if you don't affirm someone's identity, it's considered like a hate crime. And
Yeah.
that's the direction that the U.S. was going. But by the way, I don't know if you've seen this, but Trump is going to get rid of that, bro.
100%.
He's gonna outlaw the
Transgender surgeries?
the mutilation or
Children?
of children, the indoctrination at the school levels. He's getting rid of all that. And of course, I could just already imagine the media is going to be like, oh, he's attacking the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And I got a video on that where he's talking about that. We'll present that in a minute. But you're right. I mean, it is worse in Canada. And you were talking about, you were talking about custody cases, custody decisions. I think there's another one in California too from last year, the AB 957, and basically it states something like if the parents do not consider the child's identity, like gender identity, it could sway the decision of the judge for one way or another.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, and I saw that one too, and I'm like, that is insane, and that is creating the family separations that is not repairable. Like, okay, you deport a parent, right, and you can reunite him. The child can go back with the parents, or the parents can come back with legally to the states and get reunited. But and in cases like this, you're breaking up families. There's basically no going back. It's very difficult. Sometimes impossible because like Alfred was saying, the child or the person might just commit suicide.
Yeah, and all of this is part of the Marxist agenda.
It is.
We dodged a bullet, man, because I'm telling you, if Kamala would have won, we would have kept going far, far left. We would have been like Canada and Europe. And by the way, the same thing happened with Musk. He had a son that he said that he was he didn't say tricked, but he was we felt like he was tricked into signing away like gender affirming care, and he straight out said, he goes, I lost my son.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's so vocal about all this anti-woke stuff. Because it's personal to him. He had a son that went through the whole stage. I was watching this it was like an article or a video about this one junior high where every single student is either non-binary or trans. What are the odds, bro?
Jeez.
What are the odds?
That's insane. Hey, Alfred, you got that video there? See if we can play it. That's of a little boy.
Little boy, yeah?
You can celebrate it because he's doing a track show. That's the U.S. the girl. Look at all those people, man. I think this is funny.
Hello, Desmond. How are you? How you doing?
Thanks for being here. I love that you love root beer, caffeine free. I can get on board with that.
My mom doesn't like me drinking caffeine.
Does it make you hyper? Yeah, me too.
All right. So the mom doesn't like the boy drinking caffeine, but he can dress like a girl. Yeah, he can dress like a girl.
And what's up with the adults cheering?
Yes. Think about it. Think about it. You have somebody that's that's a perv, right? A pedophile. This is perfect for them. It's like you're bringing the candy to the perv. You know what I mean? We got to say it how it is. You have a lot of people out there that are just sick. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you something.
You know what's funny? I don't know if you noticed when she was lying down, if you pause it a certain way, it looks like it says demonic right there. Look.
Oh, yeah.
Look back, bro. Go back a little bit.
I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, look.
Let's see.
Because the thing blocks it and makes it look like an eye. Check it out. When you see the sign.
Where at? I don't see it.
Watch, play from the beginning, and you can see the sign that says Desmond. But at one point, when he goes to the floor, watch, wait for it. Right there, bro. Demonic, bro.
Oh, on the background,
Yeah. The thing blocks it. It looks.
You're talking about there below the heart,
right there,
behind the heart.
Yeah.
Right there. If you look at it briefly, boom, it's just demonic. I mean, it's like what,
almost.
What else do you want? What other thing do you want? How else do you want God to tell you guys this is demonic? This is not right. You know, this is a child. You know what I mean? This is a male child.
You were talking about pedophiles. If you ask me, all that people on the background, they're all pedophiles.
100%. They're approving of this. And see, and a lot of them will say this is normal. You know, it's being inclusive, being supportive to this. But this is not. Why not support exactly who this young kid is? A young male.
They even have a flag, bro. Remember we were talking about that? The what was it called? Minor attractive persons. They're maps. They're calling maps, bro. Minor attractive persons. And there's been even talks where they're saying like we shouldn't demonize these people. It's they're trying to say that being a pedophile is normal. It's an identity.
Yeah,
that's where we're at, bro. And they even have their own flag, bro. And they're trying to add everyone in that in the acronym.
Yeah.
And
So when I was reflecting on why I voted, for Trump, one of the reasons is because I'm voting against this. I'm voting against this right here. I'm trying to protect the children. I'm doing the best I can to protect my own children, of course. But you also got to look out for the children in the community, and this is just beyond comprehensions for me. Like, I don't accept it. And like you said, it's demonic. I believe it is. Here's another one. Watch this one. How is this in any way normal? Let's see if you can play that video.
Mattel is apologizing for a major mistake. A web link on the packaging for 2 dolls promoting the movie Wicked was actually a link to a porn site. It was apparently a typo that left out some of the letters from the movie's website.
All right, I'm just gonna stop it right there. How stupid do they think we are? Really, a typo? Really? They're gonna make a typo, a 1-letter typo, and instead of taking the people to the website of that, whatever they were trying to promote, or that Barbie, it takes them to a porn site. Really? I mean, really?
They really, and then they post it up saying, it's a typo, right? It's kind of like, here's a website, but don't worry about that. It's a typo. Like, it's still not fixing the typo.
Remember when Target had that Satanist that did that demonic clothing line?
Yes.
And then once they get caught, they're like, "Oh, we didn't know."
Yeah, we didn't know they were working under it.
Yeah, we didn't know he was a Satanist.
It didn't go through like many QAs, or people are watching this and say, "Hey, this is not out of the norm that we're doing for the children, right? This is not the typical clothing that we should be." I mean, come on, remember Balenciaga? Balenciaga did the same thing, right?
Oh, they were promoting the P file, bro.
Yeah, the P file, right? I mean, they come on, nobody bothered. I mean, there's nobody in there with these organizations that are looking like, hey, I don't think this is appropriate for the kids, right? We shouldn't be doing this.
Remember they
had
the Bears, right? S&M Bears.
Yeah, true.
Sick, bro.
But this is what they were normalizing. This is what
all it takes with a kid, is to be exposed once. Yeah, you expose the kid once, and now they're aware. So now curiosity is there, and the things start developing in their heads. So when you take a kid, it's you can have an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid who's playing with the Barbie, grabbing that box, and all the kids nowadays, they got access to tablets and phones, and don't tell me that they can't do that. They do. We know they do. So all they need to do is like, oh, it's a website, it's just, and they go to that website. Next thing they know, they're exposed to this porn site, and they're like, "Oh, what is this?" And I mean, I can I can only imagine what would have happened from that point. And the thing is, they're just trying to normalize all that. They're trying to normalize the pedophiles. They're trying to normalize all the drag queen kids. They're trying to normalize that pedophiles, there is an identity now. And again, this is completely wrong. And I just, as I gotta vote against all this. If Kamala would have won the elections,
Oh, bro, remember
Mhm.
Biden had them at the White House, bro. Remember?
that's right. That's right.
Party.
And
That show, it was so, bro. They don't even try to hide it.
and
Remember
and
they had
that
that
was,
one trans in front of the building.
Yeah. Well, showing the boobs. Remember?
Yeah.
Come on,
what
guys.
was it?
Was a guy.
But the date was important too. What day was it? What holiday was it?
I think it was the Pride. Actually, you know what? They get 2 months, bro.
They get
I think
June.
it was the
No,
coming
no.
out day or something, right? I think it was like
I think it was
Easter?
Pride. It was either Pride or
It was
one of
Eastern. It was Eastern.
It was Easter. Yeah,
On
they
top
wanted
of
to
that,
say
bro.
yes. They wanted to add that. I mean, think about it, man. You're over here celebrating the importance of of risen,
in the
God,
resurrection,
Jesus, the resurrection of Jesus
and they
Christ,
turned it into
and then the
That's
coming
right.
out.
trans.
Like, are you guys okay with this? And Steve, some of you have been so washed up, man, that you right now, if this is you and you're thinking this way and you're like, this is normal, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with them taking over. Maybe you're not religious, I get it, but if you even if there's in there the little notion of, bro, that's wrong, like this. I mean, that's somebody's holiday. That's the Christians. This is the risen. This is Jesus. This is the most important day for somebody. It's almost like like Hanukkah, right? For for the Jews,
yeah.
right? So
I
I
don't think they're gonna give that example because they want to kill the Jews, man.
mean, thankfully we have what's her name, Stefanik, right, coming in. She's pro Israel, and I think we're gonna see, bro. Are you guys keeping up? Are you guys keeping up what's going on with
It's demonic, bro.
with the videos that Donald Trump is putting out of his cabinet?
And
Man?
he's putting out a
Savage,
lot of videos, man.
savage, man.
He's
This
hitting
is-
us like one after another, man. It's like, what do we talk about, man? There's so much out there right now.
Yep. And what I love about it is that I can backtrack to these videos and I can say, hey, Trump, do you remember this? Do you remember you said you were going to do this? I'm going to, as us as conservatives, or even that, the American people, we have the right to come back to these videos and say, hey, Donald Trump, do you remember you said you were going to clean the globalist, right? Do you
Yeah.
remember you were going to clean the media? Do you remember you were going to clean the DOJ, the FBI? Do you remember? Awesome. This is great what he's doing. This is how a leader should be. A leader should be like, hey, I am going to tell you what's going to happen, and I am going to put my cabinet according to what I need from the American people. Remember my mandate. That is the mandate that Donald Trump did, right? He gave us himself as a mandate. He says, this is what the American people want. And so he's laying out the foundation, and I'm loving it, bro. I am loving it.
The other thing that he's doing as far as the foundation is he's going to push back against any censorship, because with any collusion with social media, he's going to outlaw that, bro. And that's the funny thing is, they call Trump a fascist, but he's making sure that future generations will have freedom of speech.
That is great, man.
That is so fascist, man.
Yeah, and this administration was like I see. This administration did something that no other administration has ever done. They colluded to silence American people and to target political opponents. Never in the history has it ever been done at that level. Finally, Zuckerberg in court finally admitted. He says, "Yeah, I was pressured by the Biden administration." Because everyone that was conservative that had any common sense saw what happened with COVID, bro. They were pushing the shot, and if you said anything against them, misinformation. Somebody was saying like misinformation only came around when they started questioning things. Before it was all open. But anyway, my point is that Trump, the first thing he has as a priority is obviously securing the border, but then also making sure that we have freedom of speech. He's gonna get rid of all that, bro. You're not gonna be able to go to like what they did with Twitter. The Biden administration, like, hey, we don't like what they're saying over here. Could you imagine, bro? But Trump is a fascist. It kills me.
I mean, the funny thing about this whole, sorry, Oscar, last thing I will add this. The thing about this whole thing is that, look, all Trump is doing is implementing the law. That's it. That's all the other administration needed to do. All the administration that needed to do was just apply the law at the border, apply the law, right? The Section 230 for the freedom of speech on social media platforms, right? Apply the law. And that's exactly what these people weren't doing. Why? Because again,
they want to control.
They want to control the people. The more destruction, the more the population take advantage, right? Because as taxpayers, guess what we're doing? We're overwhelmed, bro. I'm over here thinking not to step on the pee and the poo, right? I'm over here trying to figure it out, bro. I'm not worried about no freaking no tax cuts that they're trying to do or stuff that they're doing on the back end over there in DC. I'm worried about here home. How am I going to bring the food in the plate, the gas, right? I'm worried about that stuff. But these people, I am thankful that Donald Trump came into office and clean house.
What do you think about this really quick, both of you? Because I saw somewhere where they said that, that ad that Trump did where he said, I'm for the American people and therefore they, them. They were saying that ad was so effective. And I'm wondering how much of the alphabet community, how they cater to the alphabet community, how much do you think that affected, especially the Latino population when it came to voting time, bro? You think they were bothered by the rainbow?
I didn't see that ad.
I saw the ad.
Oh, it's good, bro.
So the ad is pretty much was created towards the end of his, of course, towards the end of the rallies, and I know
it was a they them.
It was a they them video.
They're like something like America, something like Trump is for the regular people and they're for they them, and then they show Biden's cabinet. That one guy that was like in the one guy that he was like, I forgot what he was, but he was like and he got caught at the airport trying to steal.
Right. Oh yeah. The guy that was stealing the baggages, the peloncito, right, with the dress.
Yeah.
And he got arrested, like not one time, but 2 times. Okay, so one is okay, but come on, guys. 2
so
times.
what was the question? If we think that
how much do you think that that messaging influenced Latino, especially Latino men?
I don't know.
Because something changed, bro. Because the percentage of people that voted, or maybe it was just the economy. Maybe it had nothing to do with none of that. It was just the economy. They're like, oh, is that la cosa tan difícil? And they were like, yeah, we got to.
I honestly think it's also a bunch of what's going on with the traditional media is changing, right? Because
100%.
Because the ratings for like CNN and CNN Español, all those ratings are plummeting, man. They're plummeting. So people don't stop watching social media, or they don't stop watching or consuming the news. They're just consuming it from different sources now. So they're not consuming it from the traditional media. So they might just be listening to a podcast, Joe Rogan or Charlie Kirk or Dan Bongino or Megyn Kelly. They might be listening to some of those guys or gals and say, hey, so they're waking up, they're getting red pill. They're like, okay, this is not right. So they're understanding things a little bit better. And maybe it's not even political shows like the ones I mentioned. It's non-political shows that are watching too or listening to, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, because somebody might be talking about the economy, might be talking about or making fun of Kamala or the things she's saying. And it's a little bit of politics there involved, and or maybe the friends. I don't know. I think it was more driven by the media, the non-traditional media like podcasts and YouTubes and things like that. That's my thinking.
But do you think Latinos were up on that as much?
Yeah, I think so. I do. Yeah, I do. I don't think people are watching novelas anymore like they used to. Like I think the grandmas are still watching the novelas, but I believe most of the raza, they're still watching or listening to shows, because what was it before? It was, Piolín Sotelo, that you watch, you listen to that on the radio, and that was cool. But But now, it's shows on podcasts. I think guys or la raza is starting to listen to podcasts or TikTok or whatever other new media now.
I wanted to share with you guys this video, and I think it's very important. Este video is actually Van Jones, right? He's the former special advisor to Obama. So it's somebody that's been out there. He's you guys hear him, you guys hear about him all the time. And on this video, he
breaks it down. He breaks it down.
breaks down exactly what happened and how the Democrat Party just lost. It came into shambles. And look, the reason why I wanted to show you this video is because it explains exactly what we did as conservatives. So check it out. It's super cool. Let's see if I can get it.
Play it, brother. Play it.
Let's see if you can hear it.
And here's how we got beat. We got beat because the Republicans and the conservatives built a different media system that had to do with online, had to do with podcasts, had to do with streaming platforms, and they were spending their money there. We were laughing at them and knocking on doors in Philadelphia and Detroit. It's like, there's no Trump people. They're not dropping literature. They're not knocking on doors.
In fact, it was laughing like, oh, Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk, but their PACs don't know what they're doing.
We were making fun of Donald Trump for having thrown away his ground game and doing some weird stuff online. We thought that they were idiots. It turned out we were the idiots. We woke up in a body bag because while we were knocking on doors, they were making these phones into 24-hour-a-day political weapons for themselves. And so we got outflanked, outplayed, outbeat by people who told us the whole time that they knew what they were doing. And here's how we got beat.
There you go.
We got beat.
He said it. Well, there it is. I mean, what more clear?
But the other thing that he doesn't mention is just how disingenuous the mainstream media is. All they do was lie. They lied about everything, bro. COVID, you really, really saw it. They lied that it was a close race. They lied about stuff I can't even stand CNN, bro. You watch CNN, it's the whole theme is there's one theme. Trump is bad. Some variation of that. Trump is bad. And people got tired of it. And actually, I was just hearing that they're losing money, bro. They're gonna fire a lot of people at CNN because they just lost credibility. They're telling people, oh yeah, this is a close race and Kamala's gonna win. And Trump did this and this, and they kept calling Trump an insurrectionist. And here's what I always tell people: Hitler, a fascist. Here's what I always tell people, and they use these words like normal, insurrectionist, right? And then ask them one question: has anyone been charged with insurrection? Think about it. That's like if you hit someone and they call you a murderer. Yeah, they're both crimes, but it's not the same thing. But they kept saying an insurrection, and then they just kept going to the next thing. It didn't work. And then people were like, wait a minute, like that's not what happened. People started waking up to the reality. I mean, I got like a million examples of how they lied about stuff. I'll just give you a quick one, and this is going back a couple years. Remember when they were protesting the statutes in South Carolina?
Yeah.
And then there was the racist that ran over some people. He was a white national whatever. He was a racist, right? And then when Trump said that there was people on both sides, he was talking about pro statute and anti-statute, but the media flipped it and made it seem like he was including the white supremacists in that thing. Even though if you look at the whole speech, he disavowed the white supremacy several times. But that didn't stop Biden in the presidential debate of saying, we have a guy over here who says that there's good people on both sides. They just repeat the lies. And at the end, man, the people just saw through it. And I'm so glad because eventually the truth rises. And you could only BS so much, man.
100%. I think for the most part, we were able to see that now it's like Van Jones. He said the conservatives created their own media source. They were so accustomed. They were hoping that us as conservatives, we stay there with CNN, with Telemundo, Univision. They were hoping so we can just eat up the lies. There's no other alternative for us. We must vote exactly what they're saying. The propaganda completely, the continual lies. And they wanted you to be there. But what we found out is that there was no way. there was an outsource. We had Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino. We had, the Jesse Kelly show. We had the Joe Rogan. We had all these podcasters that were just working on the sideline. And that's the reason Candace Owens. And that's the reason why Donald Trump won. Because as you know, he is a businessman. He's always looking for what's best for, and he's always showing us what's best for America. Not only people are, what is the first thing that people are screaming about right now? They're going to remove all these immigrants. Well, didn't they cross illegally? Didn't they break the law? See, we are so conditioned to say, ay, pobrecitos, déjenlo, los 23 millones. ¿Qué les hacen?
Yeah, what about the terrorists? Should we leave them too?
Exactly. They were unvetted
and you
people.
know what? And then they lost the black vote, a lot of the black vote, because they got kicked out, like in Chicago and New York. They're like, hey, you got to get out of, hey, Terrell and Jamal.
Yes.
You got to make room for Jose and Juan from Venezuela, right? And they were like, what the hell? And they were getting gift cards. You saw the video, right? Of the guy that went viral, that Venezuelan guy.
Yeah.
He was like, look, yo vengo a este país, yo no tengo que trabajar aquí, ustedes trabajan. And he was like rubbing in people's faces. And it was
prideful,
like,
bro.
Yeah, prideful. And it backfired, man. Well, a lot of the black people, they got pissed off. And then they lost the vote, the Arab vote, because they started funding the Israel war. And then Kamala later on, you saw that, right? She had two messages.
Yep.
When she was talking to the non-Arabs, it was like, we stand with the Jews. And then when she's talking to the Arabs, she's like, we're gonna demand a ceasefire.
What does she think? Like we're not gonna see that stuff? She's stupid, man.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing about having alternative media. When you have people like, like not only these podcasters, Joe Rogan, Tucker, these people that are coming out and just bluffing, showing the bluff, showing the lies. Here you are, you choose. Hey, listen, we're free to choose. But at the end of the day, look at your pocket. You look at your pocket, what is hurting you? Right? It's not that, my daughter's not going to have no more kids. It's that we need to eat. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we got to pay bills. We gotta make sure that we don't have our rights, for our guns, our rights to go and pray, at a church. That was more important for me. It wasn't about, the rainbow jihad, or anything like that. No, it wasn't like that. And I respect everybody. Let do whatever, but hey, no more.
All the fear mongering. What's the next fear mongering is Trump's going to get rid of the Constitution. Trump's going to get rid of democracy. I had this conversation with someone on Facebook. Someone said, oh yeah, I'm so disappointed. And then what happens, especially on Facebook, you got one fool, right, that says something foolish, and then all of the minions, the supporters, just as dumb or dumber than that person. It's like, yep, you know what's going on, and everyone else is the dumb. So one person said, well, something like Trump is he's going to get rid of democracy. I go, can you explain in one sentence, how is he going to do that? And you know what she said? Because he said this is going to be his last election. So just by saying this is his last election, that's going to get rid of. I was like, this is what you got to go. It's not even in reality. But he was saying this is my last election because if I lose, like that's it. That's doable. That's what he's saying. But or he's saying that he's winning, he's gonna do 8 years as a president. He can't be reelected again. So but in liberal loony mind, it means this is it. After this, it's gonna be a dictator. And here's the other thing I tell people all the time. God, these people, they're so easy to destroy. Remember they were calling him a fascist. I go, do you know any fascist that lost power? He lost an election. Because think, what is a fascist? A person that has ultimate control over everybody and everything in the government. So you tell me the last fascist that lost an election. By definition, it doesn't make sense.
100%. Yep. I like what Tammy Vigil said the following. They tried to rename us to Latinx.
Yeah.
But we didn't listen to their lies, and we're Latin American. We're Americans first. I'm so proud of our people. We showed up and showed out. That's awesome. Yep. That's exactly true. What it is.
See, that's the other thing. I think besides the podcast and besides all the media and all the lies and and all the endorsements too, because Trump got endorsed by community leaders and people that represented other people like union workers and the Muslim community, and Kamala is getting endorsed by
Beyonce,
people she pays,
That's right.
But so Trump is, but besides that, the Democrats also alienated a bunch of their base, like, okay, so a bunch of their base, who was they? Like the gays, right? So some of the gays are, they're like they lumping all the gays together with all the
Feminists,
LGBTQ,
all the
whatever.
LGBTQ, yep.
And they're like, well, wait a minute, I'm just gay, I'm not for all that. I'm not for pedophiles. I'm not. There's a group out there called Gays Against Groomers or something like that.
Yeah, Gays Against Groomers. And you know what? They shut down I think they shut down their channel because they were calling out the P file.
Wow.
Remember that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. But in any case, so the Democrats have just alienated a lot of the base and a lot of the groups, like the Latinx. Like the whole Latinx thing. I'm like, Latinx, what kind of dumb thing is that?
Well, now they changed it to Latine. Remember, with an E. Remember, it didn't fail. Latinx, everybody was complaining about, hey, you're not going to call me Latinx. You're not going to remove the Latino, the Latina, and you're going to name me Latinx, right? But then after they saw the uproar, the Latino people said, dude, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you trying to change who we are? Like, we know who we are. As Latinos, we know who we are. And they backfired. And what they come up with, the following, like 6-7 months later, you hear it through the grapevine, Latin, right, with an E, and now you're kind of like Latinx wasn't any better. Now you're.
I remember when the Latinx came up, and somebody says, "Hey, the whole non-binary thing doesn't work in Spanish, because in Spanish you can say no soy binario, binario or binaria."
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
You're still masculine or feminine. So, hey, I wanna go to the next thing. So let's show this video before I go to the what Trump is gonna do.
Here we go.
What right is he taking away from women? He don't like your race. He will spit on you. He don't even what right is he taking away from women? He don't like y'all. He don't like none of us. He don't even like his own race. What right is he taking away from women? Y'all still not answering my question. I've been asking for like 5 minutes. What was the answer? We answered it. Y'all brought up education once I asked that question. Because y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. Y'all just go on Twitter, look at what they say, and just run with it. Myron, you go on Twitter. I watched the debate. I heard everything. Y'all thought he was taking away abortions. He can't even do that here. Myron, what debate do you watch?
It's a long video, but I'm gonna fast forward to the end. Watch. So, but he keeps arguing with these people, and props to this kid, because I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
he's against everybody in his classroom. But then at the end, somebody says, oh, if you go MAGA, 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 you can't be friends with that. I was like, well, you can't be friends with people just because they voted for Trump. Watch this.
That our country citizens were more decent.
Because they voted for Trump, they're not?
Yes.
What?
Jared.
He's a messed up person.
No, wait.
Our citizens not decent because they voted for Trump?
You have your views, and I have mine. I'm entitled to mine.
But that's why you cut them off.
So
Because
if I have friends that tell me that, oh, MAGA, 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 I can't be friends with them.
Because he voted for Trump.
Exactly.
What?
You don't get it. It's
some
like
of you can't have their own opinion. Trump is a good president. Some of y'all are blindsided.
All right, so that's the what is the new thing they came up with too? The DEI, the diversity, equality, and inclusion, and the tolerance, and the coexist, and all those little funny things they start talking about.
It's kind of like you got to be tolerant. You got to be tolerant to their point of view. But when you tell them you're a Christian, and they can't be tolerant for you.
Yeah, it's got an asterisk there. Like you tolerant, except if you're a MAGA, then you're excluded from being tolerant too.
Exactly. It's like it's a point of view. It's like you must accept everybody's absolute truth, and that's the problem. My truth is not the same as Israel or Oscar. It's different. But guess what? I got to tolerate your point of view, and I'm not going to call you out and be like, hey, I'm just going to tell you you're wrong in a respectful way. It's your opinion, and accept it and move on.
But check this out. that's why the Democrats lost, because it was everything about identity politics.
100%.
It's a woman. You should vote for her because she's a woman, because she's black, because she's this. And then when they lost, instead of learning their mistake and say, you know what, maybe we need better policies for the country, they doubled down. They're like, the reason she didn't win is because I got into it with someone else too. They were like, because they're racist and they're sexist. Right, the Latino. Oh, someone said, "Yeah, Latino men. There's racism between blacks and Latino."
Oh yeah.
I go, but Latinos voted for Trump, for Obama.
Right.
Silence. Well, Obama was a different thing. It's oh, dude, it's and they don't learn, bro. Especially like all the wackies on the View. They they got unhinged, bro. You should have played. You should have played that. They're the most. They're the racists. They're the ones that are intolerant, but they'll accuse everybody else of being intolerant.
And see, that's the problem, man. They use these networks use what's really functional. They're not making any money anymore on sponsors. They're not making any more money. What are they making money off of? Division, the divisiveness against the American people. Pinning people on the right, on the left. Gays, blacks, Hispanics, this is what sells for them now.
But that's
why you're starting. Exactly. That's Marxism. But now you're starting to see some of them are getting hit hard, right? Like CNN right now, they're thinking about dropping, 3 major stars because they can't afford them. Why? Because nobody's listening to them. Now you have conversations. Should Elon Musk rescue CNN? Why would he? He's got X. You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to invest money into a machine, a machine that's been used
to lie,
propaganda? Why would I? Let it rest in peace. That's why X and what we're doing right here, it is the next level of journalism, unfortunately.
Hey, Alfred, are you in a different studio? I just realized, man, you got a different background there.
I did. No, it's actually I remodeled because Izzy was showing up, and Izzy hasn't been here in a couple of days, like a year, man. He's, hey, bro, I'm gonna check out the studio. And I'm like, so I had a remodel change, but yeah, I found another black. This one right here, the blue. Remember the blue flag? Trump won. Now I can wear it, peacefully without having any. Nobody's going to. Bro, that's a lie. That's a conspirata right there. That's a lie. He didn't win. Now he did. Now I got the.
Well, you could have said it was from back in 2016.
Yeah, right. Of course, yeah, man. But yeah, we're moving on up, man.
So all right. So anyway, so let's get back to the things that we wanted to discuss. So we discussed all this, all these things that the Democrats were doing and are still trying to do. If they get it back in the office, believe it, they're gonna go back to all this stuff. So why do I vote for Trump? Well, I voted against all this. And what I wanted to say earlier is that I don't idolize Trump. I mean, Trump is he's a good president. He's someone who's going to bring change. He's someone who's going to do good things, in my opinion. But I mean, he's
flawed,
not
like everybody.
But exactly, and Alfred was talking about, we got video evidence of all the things he said that he's gonna do. So at the minute he starts, changing things, if he does, we're gonna call him on. I'm gonna call him on and say, hey, you say you're gonna do this and you're not doing it. So, I mean, we're gonna hold him to the fire, and he's gonna have to respond, because I need him to end all these things that we just talked about, all the wokeness, all the trans, all the gender ideology. The schools are destroyed now because of all this stuff, the EDEI, and all this is destroyed. So I voted for a change back to normal. And I think it is possible. I think all that is possible. And I think it will happen. And here's one of the videos that I want to present. And we're going to start with the school. So if you want to play this video.
Here we go.
And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children, because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. Bravo.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it, man. We are 40. We're number 40. I mean, in California, we're number 40. In California, we are 40 in the nation. We invest more money in education than any other state in the United States. And we're 40. There's kids here that can't even do basic math. You know, they're confusing them with Common Core and all this bull crap. You know what I mean? Like simplifying it. And it's happening.
Math is racist, remember?
Exactly.
Math is racist.
Math is racist.
And that's the thing. You know, we're spending all this time and money on teaching kids, you know, about gender ideology. Like they're talking about, I don't know what they're teaching them, but they're indoctrinating them into all this woke ideology. So if and removing the Department of Education, it's not only affecting the schools, it's affecting so much more than that. Like I think the libraries, like the public libraries, they get federal funding, and all that's directed from the Department of Education, and Department of Education sends funding to some NGOs, and those NGOs make the list of books that are recommended for libraries to have, and those libraries have to choose from those recommended lists. They don't have to, but they do if they want to be part of the I think it's called the ALS or something like that, the American Library something. I can't remember the names, but I mean, all this is driven by the Department of Education, and there's so much more than just schools that the Department of Education drives into the different communities, because the communities, of course, they want the funding, but if they're gonna qualify for the funding, they need to do all the things that they are required to do, and sometimes they are required to do, you know, teach them that math is racist, things like that, stupid things like that. So they have to abide by those things. If they don't, then they lose funding, and if they lose funding, that means they're gonna be losing staff or buildings or computers or what have you. So they have to go by it. But now what Trump is doing, if he removes the Department of Education and sends it back to the states, now the funding is all going to be driven by the states. So the people in the states are going to decide, okay, this is what we want, and they're just going to go ahead and do that. So places like California, you guys have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah,
and
it's going to fix that. It's going to remain wacky.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. But places like Alabama, for instance, now the schools are going to be free from all that, you know, things that are coming from the federal, and they're gonna be able to do the things they want from here. So I bet that places like Alabama, where education isn't that great either, anyways, but I don't want to get into a tangent with that, but anyways, we'll talk more about that later. But now I believe that the state is going to be able to do so much better, because all the funding is going to be driven from within the state.
Yeah. And that's the same thing is happening with abortion. That's what's funny, is that people are saying, oh, Trump's going to get rid of abortion. All he's saying with abortion is like, let the states handle it instead of being a federal mandate. So like in California, we live in a wacky place, right? Nothing's going to happen to abortions. Nothing. Yeah. No one in California is going to be affected.
Exactly. It's like when the president is talking about these, hey, I'm going to be sending these to the states. How is that going to affect any blue states? We got the clowinator, right? The governor, right? Who's destroying this country. I mean, he is destroying the state. He doesn't care. I mean, they still want abortions. Everybody's going to want to come out here until the people already start waking up. But to me, all these things that he's doing when he says, I'm going to send it to the state. Boo-hoo.
Hey, I heard that Gavin Newsom called a special session recently, like just yesterday, to Trump-proof the state.
Yes, but unfortunately, you guys know this is what they do. You know, you have a governor that thinks that he's better than the federal government. At the end of the day, look, he's saying that our sanctuary cities are going to be, the sanctuary cities are going to be protected.
Yeah, he's already saying he's not going to follow the
he's not going to follow.
laws.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, ICE is already here. ICE can control. This is a federal government land. Every state is a federal government land. All the things that the California can do is participate by using the police officers and the sheriffs and all this stuff. This is the things. But you think the sheriff department, that's a full-on Trumpster, is not going to support? Hey, we'll do. Okay, if they don't want it, we'll take the funding. Think about it.
Yeah, and
they lose out on the funding.
We had a chance to get rid of Newsom.
Yeah.
Check this out. I don't know if you're familiar. Alabama, in California, there was do you know who Larry Elder is? Okay, so check this out. There's a black guy who's a conservative, so of course he's the enemy, right? This guy, his name is Larry Elder. He grew up in South Central, in the hood. He became a lawyer, and then he had a talk radio show, and then he ran for. Then he challenged Newsom, right? He's a perfect example of what the liberals claim that they want, right? Someone from the hood, a person of color that overcame obstacles, and then his dad started a business. He's a real success story. But when he went up against Gavin Newsom, because he was conservative, you know what the LA Times called him? The black face of white supremacy.
Of course. Of course.
Larry Elder, a black dude. And they called him the black face of white supremacy. I mean, racist. And of course I voted for him. But you think the people in California voted for him? No, they want the payaso.
Yeah, they started doing that too with the Latinos too. I said on the midterm elections, the last midterms, that there was a lot of Latinos that went to the right. Even though we didn't do all that well on the midterms, but they were asking the questions like, why is the Latino vote? And somebody's like, well, notice some Latinos are like light skin, and that can be like white supremacist tendencies. And I was like, what, really? They're talking about Latinos being white supremacists too. It's like, wow. I was like, I'm light skinned, but man, it's got nothing to do with the pigmentation of my skin.
It's funny that the party of tolerance, the minute you don't agree with them politically, then they put you back in the box, right? So back in the rate. If you're Republican and you're black, then you're an Uncle Tom, right? And if you're Latino and you're Republican, you're a Tío Taco, right? A sellout, right?
Yeah.
And then basically, Emmy said, "Did you hear about the Moreno High School teacher story? What's that one?
What's that one?
I'm not sure.
We'll find out. Oh, we'll look it up. Moreno High School. Oh, the teacher story. We'll find it and we'll post it up. Hey, I did wanted to show Oscar. I did wanted to show the little situation that we have here.
Oh, that's right. Just really quick, I did see it. It was about a guy. I think he came to school with the Trump hat.
Oh yeah.
And the teacher flipped out on him.
Wow.
And
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it was recorded, and I think the guy's gonna get suspended because I saw a press conference, and the lady says, "Yo, that's a real video." So just someone wearing a red hat or Trump.
See what I mean?
I seen a red hat that says something like "Take it easy." It's just a red hat instead of make America great again. It says "Take it easy." It's just a red hat. I was like, wow,
that would be beautiful. That would be beautiful.
See, and Tammy goes, of course they hate Larry Elder, but Larry Elder without an S. Because you'd always say it, Larry Elder without an S.
Yeah, Larry Elder.
Yeah, he called himself the sage from South Central. Yeah, this guy was like an attorney.
An attorney, yeah.
Bright. And you know what's funny? Years ago, when I was more like left-leaning, I would listen to, because all the blacks would call him, and they would call him an Uncle Tom, and then he would like start talking to him, and I listened to him so much, I was like, damn, it kind of makes sense. So after a while, it's like, he has a book called "The 10 Things You Can't Say About America."
Right.
And he's got a book, and he talks about like one of the things you can't say is that crime in the black community is because there's no fathers in the home.
That's right.
So anyway,
100%. And Larry Elder is a true patriot, man. He loves California. I mean, I'm sure
he's from South Central.
From South Central, he understands. This little news goes to correlate with what Oscar was talking about. McDonald confirmed as new LA chief says he won't cooperate with ICE. And then you had what's his name, Tom Hausman, who reconfirms and says it doesn't. We're not asking. You know what I mean? Like, we're not asking. All we got to do is send more ICE members. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all we're gonna do. It's a mandate. We need to do it. You know what I mean? Don't do anything. Just let them do their job. You know what I mean? It gets iffy when you have things like this. When you have, this guy just started, right? And he's got to show, he's got to bump his chest, right? Show his chest, and say, we're not gonna cooperate, right? At the end of the day, they're not asking you. You know what I mean? They're the federal government. It's kind of like the FBI. They got a mandate. They got to take care of things that they got to take care of. And it's unfortunately it has to clean house. They got to clean house.
And you know what the worst part is? Trump wasn't this aggressive until they let everybody in. So the same people that claim to be down for the brown people are creating policies that are going to hurt them because they got. It's kind of like like when you're in school and one guy messes it up for the class. And now the whole class gets punished. Well, that's what happened.
I think you're right because I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I saw a note. And they were comparing Obama with Trump deportations, and Obama was way higher than Trump.
No, he deported more people than anyone.
Yeah,
I think even there's an article that said Obama deporter in chief or something like that, but he deported for sure more than anyone, and I think he deported more than if you combine everyone's deportations together, he's the leader.
Yeah,
and that's what's funny.
I think that's going to change now. I think that's going to be Trump this time, but that's the Democrats' fault though because they let all these people in, and
100%.
That's their fault. But
the cages were there, man.
Those are Obama cages, bro.
Cages.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, going back to the woke thing. Let's play the next video.
Colleges and universities have been exploding, and I mean absolutely exploding, while academics have been obsessed with indoctrinating America's youth. The time has come to reclaim our once great educational institutions from the radical left, and we will do that. Our secret weapon will be the college accreditation system. It's called accreditation for a reason. The accreditors are supposed to ensure that schools are not ripping off students and taxpayers, but they have failed totally. When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics. We will then accept applications for new accreditors who will impose real standards on colleges once again and once and for all. These standards will include defending the American tradition and Western civilization, protecting free speech, eliminating wasteful administrative positions that drive up costs incredibly, removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats, offering options for accelerated and low-cost degrees, providing meaningful job placement and career services, and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. Furthermore, I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in explicit unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies that hurt our country so badly. Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all. We are going to have real education in America. Thank you.
Wow.
Damn, he's laying it down.
He's bringing down the gauntlet, bro.
Bro,
the gauntlet.
When I tell you, see, people, I talk about this election all the time because I don't think people understand the gravity of what happened by him being elected. The country was saved, and it sounds like hyperbole. It sounds like exaggeration. It sounds like, bro, but think about it. If he doesn't get elected, this country's done.
Completely.
It's done. We're gonna look like Canada, or an inching towards like China.
100%. They weren't. I don't think they were expected, man. They were not expected. The hand of God. I always say this. It was the hand of God that protected us.
Something like Trump. It was a hand of God.
Hand of God.
You know, and you say that, and I had somebody from our church mention that he said he's convinced that the only reason Trump won is for Israel's sake, because Israel's under attack right now.
100%.
And so this friend from church, brother in the faith, he says he believes strongly that the only reason Trump won in his mind is because Israel's under attack. If Kamala would have won, Israel's faith, I don't know what would have happened. And it might have been to the point where God needed to come himself and do something about it. I don't know. But I think a big portion of this administration is going to be protecting Israel, of course. And I think because of that, Trump won. Now, I also think there's so much more than that. You know, there's the kids. In the Bible it says that if you're
you don't attack, you don't harm kids.
Yeah, it says on the Bible that if you go against with these kids, basically just put a rock on your neck and throw yourself in the sea. I was like, what? So anyway, so I think, yes, you're right. I believe God was involved in this election, and it says in the Bible now that God is going to put the leaders where he sees fit for his agenda, for what he needs to happen. But coming back to the Trump thing, I'm glad that he's going to do this termination. He's going to do this plan that he's talking about, and I think he will do it because his transition team started like months ago. But even before he knew he was going to win, he started the transition team to start working on all this. So on day one, I think on day one, he's going to sign so much paperwork, man. It's going to be insane because, and I think it was Trump who said it. He said that the good thing about what Biden did is that most of all the things he did was just executive orders. So that means they can be undone on day one. If he would have changed laws or anything like that, it would have been more difficult. Like for instance, the Obamacare, that's hard because that's embedded in the law now. But anything that was done just as an executive, signature, then that's easily undone. All it is another signature, and it's boom, it's undone. So that's the good thing about Biden, that he didn't do any solid moves like that.
Just really quick though, did you see when they say God will not be mocked? Did you see at one of the last rallies, Harris's rallies, a guy yelled out, Jesus is God. And then she goes,
Jesus is king. Yeah,
Jesus is king. Yeah. And then she says, you're in the wrong rally.
I do remember that.
That was it.
Yeah. We actually did talk about that one last show, which was 2 weeks ago. Remember, Alfred? We did play that video, right?
Yep.
It's like you don't mock God, bro.
You don't mock God, man. That's one of the things that you don't do, man. You're already. See, that's the thing. I think we were discussing one of those things last week too. It's just evil. People. They're just so full of evil that in their own mind they don't see it as evil, and it's unfortunate because there's so much, blinded by their evilness. That you know what I mean. Like you see right through them. That's why the American people saw right through it. When they started saying like it's going to be about reproduction rights, when I saw the propaganda that it's about reproduction rights, and I heard they wanted to pin Trump on abortion, because as you know, he says, you guys are asking me to say something in regards to something that I already had said. I cannot get involved with it because it's already gone to the states and now it's out of the federal jurisdiction. You know what I mean? So genius. You know what I mean? That's all he needed to say. I cannot account for it. That's up to the states. Every state should have their own say on it. The voters should be able to vote, right? Like in California. Come on now. The voters here, we need to stand up and really vote against all this nonsense. And we need to wake up. You know,
I wish it was. I wish it was more on the right. I wish he was more on the right on that front because I'm pro-life, and
100%.
And Trump right now he's basically where Clinton was 20 years ago when he was in office. Clinton, what did he say? It was rare, safe, and forget what it was. And basically that's Trump's stance on that. So the right is on that front. The right is what the left was 20 years ago. But anyway, so that's at least it's not as bad as born babies on the 9th month.
Yes, 100%. I think that's going to be a huge change, and it's going to cause some ruffle some feathers.
And
but
you know what people don't forget? Trump's not going to forget the people that came after him, bro. He's going to lay down the smackdown hard, and now he's got not only is he president, but he's got the Congress now. He's got the majority. And you know what's funny? Whenever he starts going after the people for legitimate claims, you're going to see how the media is going to report it. Oh, he's a tyrant.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even though, I mean, God, we can have a 5-hour show about all the corruption that they did and the shadiness and everything. Trying to that was a strategy, was to lock him up.
Oh, he's a convicted felon right now.
Yeah, that's a thing. Oh, he's a convicted felon. And then anyway, yeah, but it was like it was so. I mean, that whole thing was
the whole thing that he was a convicted felon. I mean, if you don't see that was just political persecution, that's because you are just blind and you just don't want to see the reality. Because I mean, come on, who is gonna go after a guy for taking out a loan and inflating? I mean, they brought experts, right? And they're like, well, how can you assess? They don't even know how they assess the real estate value. I mean, he could have said any number he wanted, and as long as the bank agrees to it, they're taking the risk.
Exactly, and that's the thing. The banks do their own analysis.
They do.
They're lending the money,
and they did, and they
were
their
like cool with it. And even later, they were like, "We made money, we made interest. So what's the problem?"
Yeah, and I mean, there was a victimless crime.
There was
and if you call that a crime, there wasn't even a crime, but whatever. If someone says he's a criminal, no, you're just dumb because you don't know what the case is, and if you look at the case and you don't even have to look at it closely, you just have to look at it. That's all you need to do. You don't have to dig in and be an attorney or anything like that. Just look at it, read it, and you will be like, yep, this is dumb. This whatever. It was political persecution. But let's play the last video when Trump is talking directly about the gender affirming care thing.
And to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parents' consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dropping the martillo, bro.
He laid down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
The gauntlet, man. He pretty much laid out everything, man. See, remember, we had teachers that were trying to what? Some of these teachers were activists, right? That were trying to indoctrinate these kids because they have an emotional, whatever, they have the emotional thing. Instead of focusing on math and science and stuff like that, they wanted to, pretend, put the flaggies up in their classrooms and do all these nonsense, right? Well, now that's going to become something that, hey, no more. It's public funded. It's going to put pressure on principals, right?
And, and this is why the globalists hate them, bro. This is part of the whole global agenda, bro, and that's why they hate them. That's 100%. How you know, bro. There's a higher calling for sure.
100%.
For sure, there's a higher calling.
Yeah. So I'm so glad. I mean, he needs to do this. He needs to do it quickly, and all this madness needs to end right away. Because I mean, that's why we wanted to present the show like we did, with all the craziness at the beginning. Families being separated. Parents being sued. Parents being threatened to be put in jail. There's laws in California that if you don't allow your child to you go from one gender to another, they're gonna be taken away from them. We've seen the drag shows with the little boys on the pedophilia, all the porn sites being exposed to little children. All this madness, it's out there, and it needs to end. So the theme of this show today has been, why did we vote for Trump? Why did I vote for Trump? And is this all this needed to end? And this guy's got a plan to end all this. So that is why I voted for this guy.
100%, man. And that is the reason why I voted for this man, because at the end of the day, man, I want the protection of children, man. I want the protection of our borders. I want the protection of our economy. I want our money. If we're going to be sending money, I want accountability. I don't want to be sending $70 billion to Ukraine without having no back. There's nothing, no invoice showing me exactly what it's been used for. And I think that's one of the problems. There's no accountability. And I think that's the reason why I voted for Trump.
Oh,
Because
and you've seen
accountability.
and you've seen, so speaking about sending money to other countries, you saw what it came out just yesterday or the day before about the FEMA whistleblower. They were
Yes.
saying that if they see a house with a Trump flag or something, they will skip that house and go to the next
Yeah,
one, not
they were,
help them. I was
yeah, they
like,
were
are
told
you
not to help
kidding
them.
me,
They're evil,
Yes.
bro. They're evil. And
man?
then there was
So
another footage. There was a hearing for the money, the homeless money, the billions that they can't account for, and they're asking these people on trial, where's the billions of dollars for homelessness in California? Oh, well, we're working on it. They're like, you had 3 years.
Exactly.
That's California for you, bro.
Yeah,
yeah,
But
billions. Not only for the
billions.
homelessness, bro. It's also happening in the education system, man. There's no there. It's a huge
It's a racket.
money laundering scheme, and I think that's one of the things that the American people or the Californians need to wake up. That's enough.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we can go example after example, like like the charging stations, right? They spend what $8 billion and they built 2 of them, or the money they granted to Elon Musk to do internet in rural areas, and then they pull the plug and like, no, we're not going to give you the money because he started getting politically involved, and then they gave the contract to somebody else, and they spend like billions of dollars to get internet to rural areas, and they have done zero with that money. They spend, I forgot what the amount was, but they spend billions of dollars, and they haven't connected a single person, where a fraction of the money could have gone to Elon Musk, and he could have connected everybody already with his, what was the Skylink or whatever his internet is called. Uh, so I mean, when you start talking about all the corruption, I mean, you can go example after example after example of all this money being wasted, and this is all the Democrats. And again, we touched on this earlier today. We were talking about Kamala's election campaign, where she's in debt by like $20 million because she overspent the money. So and when you look at Trump's
But
money,
they're used to that. They're giving away all this money to Ukraine. Same thing. Ukraine
yeah,
was a money laundering scheme too.
yeah, they think money grows on trees. I was like, what? No, I was like, no, you gotta balance
OPM,
the budget.
OPM, other people's money.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, anyways, guys, I mean, it's 10:30 my time, man. I
Gotta
had to
go.
get up. I gotta get up early, man. You
All
know
right.
how it goes.
Oh man. Well, hey, well, thank you, everyone. Look, Tammy says, don't give up, guys. Y'all are probably being censored. I know. Have an audience. Don't forget X. It's free. Yes. So yes, we're on X. We are on Facebook right
Hey,
now.
what's
We're
up
on
with
YouTube.
Rumble too? What's up with Rumble? Hey, are
Rumble.
we on Instagram? I was looking it up on Instagram, and I
Oh,
couldn't
right
find
now
it.
we got Facebook, YouTube, and X. So we're on 3 platforms right now.
So we're not on Instagram right now.
On Instagram right now, we can't because of what this lady just said. Tammy, it's all your fault. Don't give up, guys. I know you're probably being censored, and they, that's what they do. When Lexit is out there speaking the truth, right? We're out there talking to the people, letting them know, hey, just think about it, right? Just have a different, let's have a discussion. And I have lefty friends. I want them to join in here and have conversations. Unfortunately, they don't want to. They don't want to have a discussion. They don't want to,
It's emotions, bro.
yeah, they don't want to have any discussions. I'd say, hey, listen, how do you feel now? I mean, I talked to them off air and I said, how do you feel? I'm seeing all these videos. I'm doing a check on you, a wellness check on you to make sure that you're doing okay. And, they just say like, bro, I don't want to jump into conspiracies. And then they start blaming the game. It was the women that didn't vote it for us. It was the women. It was the Latino men. It was the black. It was the, the minorities. You know what? You blame everybody except yourself. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what you're supporting is evil. It does not has no foundation. And we just need to call out evil for what it is, period.
Yeah, we gotta get on Rumble too, bro. Because I
Yep.
mean, X is good, but there's a lot of people on Rumble too, right? Like right now, the Rumble platform is getting big, man, like big time.
100%.
So we gotta get on that one too.
We will, man. We will get on that one, man. Hey, well, thank you so much. I know, Oscar, you got to go. Easy. Welcome back, bro. Welcome. I
Yeah,
know.
we're
I
gonna
told
do
you.
it
Hey,
next
I
week.
told you, bro. Bring the suit. because you know.
No. Next week is gonna be a hoodie, bro.
Hey, let's all dress up next time. He's gonna come with he's gonna come like a cholo. We're gonna be like, hey, what's wrong with
Might
you,
as well,
man?
bro. Hey, we'll change the format here on the back end here, and then we're looking like newscasters now, and then we'll look all professional, man. It would be nice. Or at least, or we do Fetterman, bro. Just bring a suit. Just bring a hoodie. You know what I mean? Hey, man. Well, thank you, Oscar. Hey, thank you, everybody. Let me give a shout out to some people. We got basically _me says gracias carnales. Thank you so much. Tammy Vigio, she's been supportive. Let's see who else is in there. I got those two. Is those the only two? Vicky Sanganelli. We got Ekair Prieto. We want to give a shout out to you, so do us a favor. I know this is too much to ask. Before we go, I want us to give a shout out to you. So can you guys post on the chat, man, where you're listening from, so we can give you a shout out? Before we go, man, just remember, we are here. We are Lexit. You can visit more about Lexit at www.wearelexit.com. We're just Latinos, conservative Latinos, just having conversations with people, man. This is what we're all about. At the end of the day, look, we can have a different opinion. It doesn't matter if you're the right or the left. It's about being in America and be free, being able to have discussions. And I think that's something that's been lost over the years. And that's why we're using Lexit platform to reach out to our people, our communities, minorities, and to everybody. We're not just focused on Latino, man. We're focusing on everybody, because at the end of the day, we're all Americans. We're all Americans. All right. So where they can find you, Izzy?
Instagram at @iscomedy, IZ comedy, IZ comedy. And we'll be here next week. We're gonna do something.
Shout out from basically _me. He's from Wisconsin. Hello, Wisconsin. I remember that one show, that 70s show, bro. Love that show, bro. I loved it. But
hey, Wisconsin was one of the swing states that went for Trump.
Yep, one of the swing states. And I know right now there's a little issue going on with the Senate. One of the Senate race that kind of, they did one of these little funny, you know what I mean? One of those little funny, oopsie, over at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. dump. And so they're looking into it. Oscar, where they can find you, bro?
Oh, bro, I have no idea. right now, look for the Lexit Alabama on Instagram. I'm not doing my podcast right now. I'll resume that later. So once I do that, but for now, just find me on the Lexit on
Lexit
Instagram.
Alabama. All right.
Yep.
And for us, man, you can find us on the Orange County, man. We're in Orange County, California, man. Orange County, Lexit, man. Also, it says, Tammy Vigil says, I'm going to look for y'all on the uncensored platforms like Rumble, of course, and X. We are already on X. Find us on X. We're on Lexit Movement. You guys will be able to find us in there. Rumble, we're working on it. We do have a page. We're just getting it set up here. And then also, of course, you can find us on Facebook, Real
Lexit Movement 1 on X. Lexit Movement 1.
Yep, Lexit Movement 1. And then on YouTube, you can find us on Lexit. I think Lexit. I think it's also Lexit Movement.
I think it's just Lexit.
Lexit. Yes. So, I think it's Lexit at 13. I believe that's the user account. But as soon as you make the search, you'll be able to find us there. And we're always putting up videos. This is the first, actually, this is the 2 shows that we have long form formats, because Lexit always just does little small videos. This is the long format that has been super successful in Español, Spanglish. And that's why, we're doing these long formats, because there's just so much to talk about, man. So much.
Yeah, man. It almost seems like we gotta do it more frequently than once a week, man, because we get on it and we got subjects after subject after subject, and then we jump from one to another, and we don't get to cover everything. Like, the weeks are full of news. Like, we showed 3 videos of Trump, and he's posted like 10 videos on, so there's so much to talk about, man. So
much. And we'll keep you guys up to date. Again, you're keeping up on Instagram. I mean, also on Instagram. Do find us on Instagram, Lexit Movement. But X is also a good source. Rumba is also a good source. All right, everyone. Have a good night, man. We will see you guys here next week. I hope you guys have a blessed week, man. And remember, enjoy. I mean, bro, I feel like there's been a stress reliever after the election, bro. I don't know about you. I don't know how you guys feel.
like a revival almost. Huh?
Yeah, like a revival, like you know, like
I feel like Kamala was trying to sell us the joy. I feel like that, man.
We feel like a joy, bro. Exactly. I feel like you know, like we had one of those elephants, bro, that just came off, bro. It was like
I feel like a Celia Cruz song.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, man. All right, everyone. We'll see you guys here next week, man. God bless. Take care.
See you.